Yo, what's going on? I don't want people to get the impression that black men have a problem with religion and or spirituality and with the whole idea of being in church. What people need to understand is that the issues that men have with pastors, I feel, is bigger than just with black men or black preachers. We speak about it because we are black, of course, but it's. I'm sure other men feel the same way, and the issue has to go with how we view a pastor. The women view the pastor as somebody who is above man and woman, so he kind of exists on a level above us. So his dealings, his failures, or his successes are greater than ours, and there's a level that they create or that they try to create where we don't understand what's going on because they're not on the same level. So if a man cheats on his wife, he's a bad dude. If a pastor cheats on his wife, right, he may have some reason or some explanation that the women may buy into because of course he's above men and women, so he's dealing on a whole new level. His spiritual battle is a whole lot stronger because he's face to face with the devil. He comes in contact with the devil nightly. So I mean, it's different for him, and that's the view. But we view the pastor as nothing more than a specialist. If your car is broken, who do you talk to? A specialist, right? You talk to a mechanic, especially if you have a certain type of car. If you're sick, what do? You consult a health specialist, which are called doctors. So you're going to speak to a doctor. If you have some legal problems, who are you going to speak to? A lawyer or an attorney. And if you have a religious and or spiritual problem, who are you going to talk to? Your pastor or your preacher. So these are just men to us. I'm not shocked if the preacher cheats on his wife or he gets caught stealing money. He gave into temptation, as all men do. Right? I don't expect him to be any weaker or any stronger than I am. So whatever he can do, I can do. There is no level that he can be at that I can't get to. He is a man, but he chose to specialize in a certain field, so I consult him. Right? So if my pastor wanted to get a little bit more information about education and what's going on there, I would expect him to consult with me because that's what I chose to specialize in. So that's how we view him. The issue, though, is a lot of pastors have chosen to create a persona that appeals to women rather than men. So they create a level of I'm above you, I've transcended you, because it keeps the women interested and it helps his ego out, and the women, of course, will contribute financially. So I guess in the long run, he makes more money appealing to the women and not the men. So at the end of the day, it's not so I view him as a bad dude. I just view him as somebody trying to make money. I view him as a businessman. He does what he does to feed his family. But you're not going to get my dollar. So there is no hatred. I don't know, black men or men don't hate the preacher or the pastor, but we're just not trying to buy what he's trying to sell. I don't need your services. Right? I don't negate what you can do. But obviously you haven't designed your business or what you do well to support what I'm looking for. And that's just how we feel. At the end of the day, like, we're not going to be in a situation where another man is trying to domineer over us. We're not. Like, we're not going to buy into that. That's just how we're built. We can get into the why, but we just don't get down like that. To be real, I don't think, man has ever viewed their pastor or their preacher or whatever, that position is called, on a level where they are above him. Because as men, we can see through them. Just as if if you saw the rise of the female pastor or preacher, I don't know what they call them, excuse me, but just imagine a world where the majority of pastors and preachers were women. And I can almost guarantee you that the women would feel the same way that the men do. They would be on some, yo, I don't think I'm feeling this whole church thing. You know, the women is catering to the dude and she's creating some atmosphere where, you know, she's feeding them some lies, and they're going to pull back slowly. Right? There may be some hate and resentment, but at the end of the day, they're not going to support her business because her business isn't meant to make them better. And her business is based off of perception that, yo, they don't buy into. They can see straight through it. So at the end of the day, that's just where we stand. I mean, there's no hatred, there's no love lost, but we're just not compatible. As the pastor wants to be as more man, and we're like, yo, I view my mechanic, right? You know, if you're good, you're good. If you're whack, I'm gonna get a new one.